All right, we're back. I'm gonna do part two of this thing. We're not gonna mess around. We are painting. I don't know if you can hear the street traffic or the stomping around upstairs, but I can hear it. It doesn't really bother me. I hope it doesn't bother you. It's the sounds of life. It would be terrible if those sounds ever went away. So, breaking out a little bit of Prussian blue because I want to do my background, my shadows with a little bit of that. There's a color called Ice Blue from Lucas. It's just so good for virtually everything. I use it in everything. Killer color. This whole background is going to be ice blue or some variation on it. That's what I'm going to paint in first, is that blocking that whole background. The same idea as the envelope in the first place, is establishing what's not to be. I'm not going to make any jokes there. And you shouldn't either. A tiny little touch of Prussian blue in there cools it down just a bit. Makes it a kind of a custom color instead of straight out of the tube. And a tiny little touch of red pushes it over towards violet just a bit. Probably push and pull out of that for a while as I'm painting the background. I'm just going to block in this whole background with variations on that. As I'm doing this, I'm always telling myself, trying to be forgiving with myself. That's another whole discussion, but it's easy to think like, oh, it doesn't look perfect. I suck. And there's a lot of ways to counteract that. One of them is to say, I'm just doing my first pass, man. It's just I'm doing a survey of this canvas. Of course it's not perfect. But how could it be? It's not even going to be what's at the end. Now, friends, between you and me, a lot of what I paint ends up at the end. Not everything, but a lot does. But I don't tell myself that at the beginning. I almost don't want to say it right now while I'm doing this. But I say I'm establishing a background for my real painting, and that's coming later. But since I'm doing it anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and see how close to right, and that's in quotation marks, I can get it on this pass since I'm here. I think that's a way of overriding that script, that bad script of I have to get it right or I suck. Which I'm probably not the only one that's ever felt that. Comment below if you know what I'm talking about. Or don't. You don't have to. It's a common thing. Everyone deals with it. Anyway. A lot of painting is getting over yourself. In the best possible way. I don't mean that as a insult to anyone who's not over themselves. But boy, it's nice to be on the other side of getting over yourself. And just, it so much becomes more about the paintings and the the world around us and the beauty and the other people that we meet that are on the similar path, and people who aren't even on a similar path. Painting is similar to cooking food. It opens your eyes to the world. It's a worthy pursuit. And I apologize for my stuffy breathing. Go back over some of this with yellow. Just lay it out some establishing. Why not touch some yellow in there now? No time like the present. Right. And it's still that gray. A gold tint to it. It's pretty. Just enough different in there. The kid really likes to stomp upstairs. And it would be so easy to be annoyed by it. But it must be so fun. You know, when's the last time you just ran back and forth, boom, 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 and really didn't give a damn? No part of your brain is going, that man's downstairs. And I can assure you, no part of his brain is thinking of me, even though I gave him popcorn. Yeah, this is a fun way to paint a wing. It's slight little variations on that background. A little bit more yellow. I love this new studio. I love the vibe here. I love the energy. There's always stuff happening. People in the middle of life. Almost every single interaction has been positive. I can't even think of a negative one. Alright, that's a little start. While I have that light out, I'll just go ahead and block in the other. The part that is bright over here. I'll mix up a little violet. All the way down to there. Remember, we're just blocking stuff in. This is not the final layer, right? It's just gold in there. There's that. That's about it. I'll fuzz this in. We'll do that violet next. Some Prussian blue. some red. And a little bit of this ice blue. Should get us somewhere. Let's see how deep that is. Yeah, that's good. That'll be good. Can build deeper if I need it. Lighter if I need it. And bring the shadow right up to that edge. Oh, nice deep violet. Easy to get it too blue or too red. And I keep kind of adding and balancing it out. And it lightens up as it gets away from the bee, of course. It goes into that wing. I'm going to do that same gold trick. It starts getting a little bit more of that ice blue over here. That's pretty. Ice blue into violet, just gorgeous. A little bit more of that. And then it's a natural shadow if ice blue is the main color. Yeah. There's a little bit of that. Here. Under this. And a little bit more red. Ice blue, that's too much. Yeah, this all works. It's pretty good. I'll bring that paint down just a bit. Blend out those edges a bit. Push that in there. Let's get that really thin. Just scrub. Wash of everything. Oh, make it a little bit more gold for there. Okay. So I'm sort of thinking right now, just always like I want to get rid of the white of the paper, and I want to do it as accurately as I can. But that's the main goal, and I can always paint on top of it either now or after the paint dries. I'll have a couple chances, several chances to build on top. But I do love capturing um, that look if I can in the first passes or pass. There's something about that single expression. Almost any painting benefits from another pass. Yeah. This is the point of the painting I run out of things to say because it's just obvious what I'm doing. Just going across, putting in as appropriate a color as I can for the spot I'm looking at, and I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about the next step, what I'm going to need to do in the next pass. So basically that's allowing me to think about what do I leave open. What do I leave to abstraction, which is really always a consideration. The viewer's eye wants to fill stuff in. And it's part of art. Beautiful art. They feel like I do, ownership of a image that you work a little bit for. Yeah, I'm trying to get this cool chromatic black that Charlie gave me. It's from Gamblin. It's not a Lucas color like all my other paints, but it's beautiful. Gamblin makes incredible paints. And so I'm using that chromatic black for these darks. Mix that chromatic black with a little bit of this transparent red oxide. Alright, I think call that part 2. We'll take a little break and then come back. We'll do part 3. We'll wrap this bad boy up. A few little doodads here I missed. Yeah. So yeah, that's the process. That's more or less it. It's just patiently putting stuff together, looking for the colors, matching them as best you can, adjusting, moving on, repeating that process again and again. And then, painting teaches you about painting. So as you keep doing that, you develop personal little goals and little things that you think, yeah, I'm going to remember next time. I'm going to try this, or the next time I'm going to do this. And then years of that go by, and you've next timed yourself into like this really awesome place of understanding color, or your understanding of color, your understanding of all this stuff. There's not one, but the self-confidence to jump in and do a painting that might seem challenging from the outside. I'm going to end this video, this section, as soon as all the white is gone. So I'm going to keep yammering until that's done. And I already see things I need to go back and adjust, but that's okay. Just going to try to Make sure that there's none of the paper. Oh boy, that's the last thing I wanted right there. Beauty of the oil paper, just wipe it off. Definitely don't want any of this white down here. Don't want that yellow either though. Well, why not? We'll just get a little bit of that blow in there. It turns to a wash. That's all going to be white. And that's got some yellow. Okay. Alright, we'll come back and do part 3 and we'll detail everything and make it as nice as it can be.